can mention I am a little bit sad that we haven't seen Shin and gang uh, showing their awesomeness for a while now. And the thing is, because we are constantly being overshadowed by other awesome guys, I'm actually beginning to wonder, will Shin ever really show his awesomeness and growth? However, at the same time, you can say the very fact that a members like this just did this is almost too amazing. In a way, do you know what the words are? Sometimes a moral speech is the only thing that can change a people forever. I mean, presidents knows that, speakers knows that, and most of all, military knows that. You just need to have the right motivational speech, and then you can really light the fire in people's bellies. However, sometimes, especially in this Kingdom manga, yes, I am talking about Kingdom Chapter 505, and I am the angry anime fan that is very reviewer. Well, duh. Either way, what I am trying to tell you all is there's one thing Kingdom manga is making us very much sings. It's not only that moment about what I just said, that sometimes a moral speech can just be that powerful, but also for the fact that sometimes you just need one icon, someone who's so important to the army that it doesn't matter how much of a trouble they're facing. They just need to be reminded that this is the person they have admired, and then they will charge forward. Okay, now I have blabbled on a lot. After all, I got some criticism for someone last night for stuttering a lot in when the pacing of the other one. But that's how I do. I always talk, okay? I'm not meant to have great pacing. Now, onwards to the chapter. Of course, Sao army of Retsubi is screaming with morale so much that the earth is practically shaking, and a lot of people of the other army of Shin-China army is actually a bit wondering if Yotawa army, as well as the Hishin unit, can do it. But Shin and Yotawa are very clear that they can't take it down. But Yotawa, on the other hand, says they're gonna take this down in half a day, mentioning that they always need to climb over the walls and then send troops through the door open and capture the inside. Of course, Ten is being a little bit more logic here, but Yontawa, it's clear she is not the type of girl that just goes for this has to happen. No, if there's something she looks at, she breaks through it. So Tai Fu, although he could speak some English words, unfortunately cannot speak all the one, says, but at the same time, oh yeah, did I already forget his name? Baiju? Translate that enemies are coming out of the city, so this means that they have to charge it in. 10 is worried about the morale, but that Yotawa is not. As she approaches, Baju begins to talk again about Yotawa and her methods. We all know that she was one of the first characters introduced, and yet we still didn't know a lot about her. At the beginning, she looked like a man hiding behind a mask that a lot hid her face, But no, this is not exactly what I'm trying to say here. Turns out that the Mountain King or Mountain Queen, historically, although I hate to say this, in real life history, apparently the character Yotawa was based on was actually a man. But then again, this is not technically that kind of character, it's only a note. Either way, Yontawa has been also waging wars, just the same as Sei, but she has been uniting many different tribes from many different mountains. The one the Bayou called Fego, Mera, and Huge tribes with huge amount of warring spanning centuries. So how could a troop that was so full of these people unite? And that is easy. All due to one single person, the woman called Yontawa, the king or queen of the mountain tribe, but also more or like hailed, sorry, I stuttered again, as the Lord of Death. Someone who, despite being a woman, has fragmented mountain realms into one united thing. So she will overpower the moral army of all these troops. And how does she does that? Well, as soon as she approaches, all the mountain tribes roar in a huge amount of moral, like, our queen has appeared. And so Yontawa silenced them with just one move, and she begins to scream to them that the cries of Sao are laughable. How does a real war cry sound like? And the entire Yontawa army screams in such a shout that the earth is crackled and lightning happens. You all know that when when a moral is extremely high in the Kingdom manga, how do they more portray that? Well, by lightning effects and like that. And the earth is actually shaking. It was only slightly shaking from Retsubi, but now it's extremely shaking. And the Sao troop, the troop that have arrogantly, well, not arrogantly, actually they are defending their home, so we shouldn't call that arrogant, but has been with confidence saying they cannot cross Retsubi, the second largest city that is the gateway to the capital. They shake in fear when they hear the moral cry that shakes the earth. Even though Yontao is talking in a different language, it's nowhere different than any other. Of course, we understand what she's saying thanks to a translation. But she also says that even though this is a war between plain folk, this is also for expanding their worlds. So the tempered blades of Yontawa shall swing forth. We will turn all who resist us and chunks of flesh and move forward, just as we always have done. As they all scream her title of Lord of Death, son, she says to them, "Do you think such a small city can stand up to the blade of the Mountain Queen?" Oh yeah, she calls herself the Mountain Queen. As Shin is impressed by realizing this is how the Yontawa truly is, the Queen of the Mountains, she tells her troops to charge. And so they does. With extreme moral, with extreme bloodthirstiness in their body, and extreme confidence, the mountain troops attacks. And as I said in the beginning, it's extremely amazing how just one person can really influence people like that. But I am still a little bit, bummed out that still Shin hasn't showed anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm one of the few people who actually believes that Shin has really grown as a character. And I actually believe his troops, as the Kanki arc, let's just call it that, proved, the moral and the friendship and the comradeship of the Hishin unit have become even stronger. I highly doubt Shin unit can actually cause though such a strong moral. But as Shin says, there was one general who could just with his presence alone inspire his entire troop. So he says to his troops, "Look at my back, Hishin unit. Look at my back and follow it. You don't need to do anything else." So now the mountain tribe charges. Will Hishin unit charge also with huge morale? It's gonna be tough to overshadow them. I just hope that they do work together, but Yontawa did say they have their own way of doing things, so it wouldn't surprise me if Yontawa's army actually single-handedly takes out this alone. Oh, I know that may sound a little arrogant, because as huge as a morale is, it doesn't change the fact that Retsubi is an extremely big city. But we'll see, won't we? We'll see if they want to do it. After all, Yontawa said that they will take care of this after just one day, half a day. So yeah, who knows what will happen? All I know is that was some amazing speech and presence. I mean, it may not have been the flashiest of speech, then again, I'm not a spokesperson, so I don't know. One of my hobbies is holding poetry and holding inspiring speeches to people when in my poetry. So I can understand a little bit how Yontawa does this. But at the same time, it didn't sound like it was that inspiring, but it was. You have to realize sometimes just one person can change it all. And I think the only one who can break this morale is Riboku. One or more reasons to criticize the Sao King. But also, before I end this video, I'm sorry if I've babbled a lot, and if that same And if you think my pacing is still slow, then don't watch my reviews. My Kingdoms reviews chapters are not meant to be short, because Kingdom is a manga you need to talk about. What I'm trying to say is, this kind of mangas have also, this kind of characters that gives huge morale have one weakness though, and that is the character themselves. So if Yontawa dies, and I think moral dies too. I mean, you saw it with Sei, after all. Then again, Yontawa doesn't exactly look like that kind of woman you can easily kill. So give me your thoughts if you have any.